As 2018 draws to a close, I'm really pleased with the progress we've made. The works on site look fantastic and they're really progressing well. We're on track to complete the civils works as we anticipated, and our preparation and transition into actually doing the fit-out works is going really well. The most significant thing that's happened on the project is that we've completed the work of Kennington Station.
So the last 16 weeks have gone really successfully. We're now standing in the finished civil side and the cross passages here at Kennington. So the major challenge was not having access into the station to get materials in or out, so it all had to come through engineering trains, which we had 2 a week, which meant everything had to be planned meticulously to make sure we were utilising those trains as best as possible.
It quickly became apparent that we couldn't pump enough engineering trains in to keep pace with the mining works, so we had to start bagging spoil up into small little fertiliser bags, and we had to manually load the train as well as load it with the little cranes we got, and we managed to do a first for London Underground in that we were loading trains during night tube. Passenger trains were running, customers were using the station, and we were loading engineering trains with traction current on.
Concrete operations was really successful, pumping concrete through a live station next to where customers are walking. We had to be careful because of the adjacent tunnels. So the next kind of 6 months of work, as it goes into the fit-out stage now. You'll see here they'll put the block work up and then tile it, so it all matches in with the heritage part of the station.
So it's a superb piece of work, and we received congratulations from the TfL business that the work that went into it deserved, so I'm very pleased with that. In parallel with that, the tunnelling works in terms of the tunnels that were bored by the TBMs is now finished, and we've actually moved into the fit-out stage. And what that means is we've started laying the final track.
So for the first time within London Underground, we've installed a low vibration track form. This low vibration track form helps prevent noise being transmitted from the train as it runs over the rails, which is a concrete block which sits in a rubber boot, and then the rail sits on top of that on a rubber pad itself. And then concrete is poured around them to form the track bed that I'm standing on. It's the only one within London Underground, and I imagine going forward it will be used more regularly on any other line extension projects, because it will be the new standard which we should be trying to achieve to make sure we don't impact people who live above us. And what is really exciting is that in October we're looking forward to have the first engineering train enter the Northern Line extension network to deliver the long welded rail. So instead of having 18 metre lengths of rail, we'll be welding up 91 metre strings of rail. The engineering train will bring the rails through the LU network from Ruislip to Kennington. From Kennington we will bring the trains into the NLE and pull off the rails.
To see actual trains running on the NLE is a major step forward and very pleasing to see. To date, we've actually laid the final track formation between Battersea Station and Nine Elms. At Battersea, the rails are also within the platforms, and you can stand there and pretend you're waiting for a train already.
In Battersea Station, where we are at the moment, we've got the low vibration Delcor track form installed, which allows us to have the safety pit installed between the two running rails.
Whereas 6 months ago it was predominantly civil engineering concrete box, as it were, now we've actually been putting in the precast steps that will go underneath the escalators when they go in, so you can actually stand in the ticket hall, see where the passengers will be coming down at both the east and west end. Also, block work has started going up that actually form the back of house rooms.
So within the last 4 weeks we've started to install our containment modules at Battersea. This is the electrical containment trunking that will provide the route for our electrical cables in the future.
So it's now beginning to look like a real station. The next stage will be early next year. We'll put the crossover in that goes just outside Battersea Station to enable the trains to come in on either platform.
We've been really busy at Nine Elms Station. So below us right now, we've completed our station box and met a key milestone in completing our civils works, which has allowed us to work from our bottom-up construction. So off the back of that civils programme, our fit-out and MEP works have commenced. As we're putting in the floors and the columns, we're creating these new back-of-house rooms and corridors. So you'll start to see things appearing from above ground. So you can see right behind us, we've got our eastern superstructure. We've got the columns, double-height ticket hall, which is going to continue on until early next year. We're going to get a roof on that. We're also going to continue with the western superstructure as well. And you'll start to see some of the actual physical station above ground elements come into place.
A significant part, though, that we must never forget is the Kennington shafts themselves, because within the Kennington shafts there's very important systems which is vital that we have that installed at the right time to feed the rest of the Northern Line extension.
The railway's a complex series of systems. Systems integration is about bringing those all together to form one overall system. The radio is really important for the railway. It's the one that shows the light blue route and the red assets. It's used by station and train staff, the fire brigade, the British Transport Police and the emergency response units. So the infrastructure is key to making a safe, efficient railway.
Some of the key challenges that we're going to face in the next 6 months is certainly going to be the increased number of subcontractors coming on site.
Railway system contractors need space, they need power. That has to be there before their equipment goes in.
Over the last 6 months, the Railway Systems team have finalised the H3 CMS route between Stockwell Substation and the Kennington Loop. In particular, the two platforms, Oval Northbound and Oval Southbound, have been particularly problematic areas. We're incredibly tight for clearance there, and it's been very difficult to provide a route through. But by working closely with Flow, Balfour Beatty, and our colleagues in SPC, R&E, we've managed to achieve a solution that's fit for everybody. So while there's still a long way to go in terms of H3 fit out and testing and commissioning before we can energise the NLE, this is quite a high risk aspect of the works in that we're dealing with operational infrastructure, we're dealing with existing track and existing track assets. So getting these works completed early is a major milestone in achieving overall NLE energisation.
So over the next 6 months, the CMS will be providing critical routeways through the station in order to provide energisation and also for other contractors who work at the Northern Line extension.
All the CMS has been installed all the way from Kennington down to Nine Elms in both the north and the southbound. We're now installing the CMS between Nine Elms and Battersea. Once that CMS is installed and the track's installed, we can bring the trains in, we can start running cables, and we've also opened up a supply route to both stations.
Completing those routes end to end or room to route enables the cables to be laid.
Obviously, the success of the project to date is based on the hard work being done by both Flow, our main contractor, as well as the works that we're undertaking directly with Thales, Prestige and Connect. The work with Flow is progressing very well on site. The progress speaks for itself and the quality of the work they're doing is excellent.
Key integration challenges still facing us are integrating to the remote locations that are little thought of, such as Highgate Control Centre, before we can deliver the railway in its truest sense.
So as part of a Northern Line extension project, we are installing third generation signalling equipment. Within the last 6 months, the main focus has been design. So we're about halfway through now the design process. Once the design is completed in March 2019, we will be installing signalling system at Battersea and Nine Elms and in the running tunnels between both stations and interfacing that to Kennington. Thales works in the control centre here at Highgate Control Centre. Will include installation of an extra VCC, which is a vehicle control centre. Also, the software in the control room will be updated to include 2 new stations at Battersea and Nine Elms.
Now that's a very complicated piece of work, and the planning for that and the integration between what Flow are doing and what we as TfL are doing as direct contracts with Thales for the signalling, Prestige and Connect for other railway systems is absolutely crucial going forward. The good work that Flow's been doing for us has been recognised also by external bodies, and in fact they've been shortlisted in 9 categories in the upcoming NCE Tunnelling Awards, which is a great recognition of what they've been doing, and I've got high hopes that 2019 will be equally as successful as this year.